Welcome, little gems. Today I have a heartwarming adventure story just for you. It's about a tiny, brave squirrel who proved that true courage isn't about size, it's about heart. So get cozy, open your ears wide, and let's begin. Sammy the squirrel lived in a beautiful green forest, full of tall trees, chirping birds, and winding rivers. He was small, but his heart was big, and he loved exploring every branch and corner of his home. His best friends were Ruby the rabbit and Toby the tortoise, and together they spent their days playing, laughing, and racing through the trees. One morning, as they played near the sparkling river, Sammy noticed something strange. Hey, the river looks bigger than yesterday, and the sky, it's turning dark. Ruby giggled, hopping around. Maybe it's just a little rain. Rain is fun. But Toby, who had seen many seasons, frowned. Rain is good, but too much can be dangerous. Just then, a chilling wind rushed through the trees. The birds stopped singing. The leaves rustled in fear. The forest fell silent. Then, a loud voice echoed above them. It was Oliver the owl, flapping his great wings. A storm is coming. The river will overflow. Everyone must find higher ground, now. Sammy's heart pounded. Before he could react, thunder crashed across the sky. The wind howled, bending the trees. Heavy raindrops began to pour, soaking the ground, turning the soft earth into muddy streams. Then it happened. The river started rising. First a trickle, then a rush, and then a roaring flood. The big animals, the elephants, the deer, the bears, raced up the hills. But the smaller ones, the rabbits, the hedgehogs, the squirrels, the birds, stood frozen in fear. Sammy's chest tightened. Someone had to help them. With no time to think, he dashed toward the tallest tree in the forest. He climbed fast, his tiny paws gripping the wet bark. His heart pounded as the branches shook beneath him. But he kept going. Up, up, up. When he reached the very top, he gasped. Beyond the river on the other side of the forest, there it was, a large hill with a huge cave, a safe place. Sammy took a deep breath and shouted as loud as he could. Everyone, there's a shelter, follow my voice. The rabbits hopped, the foxes ran. Even Toby moved as fast as his little legs would take him. Sammy felt relief wash over him. They were getting to safety. But then, he saw something that made his heart stop. A tiny sparrow, alone, trapped. She was perched on a thin branch near the water's edge, her wing injured, her feathers dripping wet. She couldn't fly, and the water was getting closer, closer. Sammy had no time to think, no time to hesitate. He took a deep breath and jumped. Down the tree he raced, leaping from branch to branch, the wind whipping through his fur. The moment his paws touched the ground, he ran straight for the tiny bird. "Pip, hold on," he cried. The sparrow looked up at him, her eyes full of fear. "Sammy, I can't move." "Yes, you can," Sammy said. "Climb onto my back, trust me." Pip hesitated, but then she took a deep breath, spread her tiny claws, and held on as tight as she could. Sammy turned to see the water rushing toward them. No time left. With all his strength, he leaped onto a floating log. It rocked beneath them as the flood carried them away. Sammy clung to the log, gripping it with all his might. Pip buried her face into his fur, shaking. The river pushed them faster and faster, the waves crashing around them. Sammy's tiny heart raced. Would they make it? Then, a break in the current. With one final push, Sammy jumped off the log and landed on the muddy shore. He panted, his tiny body exhausted, but he looked down. Pip was safe. He did it. Slowly he carried Pip toward the cave. As they entered, the animals cheered. Oliver, the wise owl, nodded. "Sammy, today you showed us all what true bravery looks like." Toby smiled. Ruby hugged him. Pip chirped softly, looking up at Sammy with tearful eyes. And from that day on, everyone in the forest knew Sammy, the tiny squirrel, had the biggest heart of all. Bravery isn't about size, it's about heart. Even the smallest can make the biggest difference. Did you enjoy that, little gems? Remember, even the smallest among us can be the biggest heroes. Stay kind, stay brave, and I'll see you soon for another adventure.